Good morning, grade 5 students. Welcome back to another teaching and learning exercise. I hope you are doing well and you are keeping safe. The Ministry of Education is guided by the philosophy that every child can learn and every child must learn. I believe in that. As an educator, I believe in that. Right? Every child can learn if he or she chooses to learn. I can only teach, but it's up to the individual to take what I teach and apply themselves. All right? So, the great book says, a wise man will promote himself. In other words, a wise man will better themselves. How do you better yourself while you are in school? Learn as much as you can. Learn as much as you can. Time is getting hard, and without a solid education, time will be harder, or time will get harder for you. So ensure that you take your education seriously. And I wish for you the best. So work hard. Don't be lazy. Don't procrastinate, and you will do well. God bless you. Stay tuned for the teaching and learning exercise. Okay, grade 5 students, we will look on the subject social studies this morning, and the topic is identify the ethnic groups that came to the Caribbean. So we will be identifying the ethnic groups that came to the Caribbean. So we are going to define and use correctly the concepts or terms such as ancestors, colonization, Middle Passage, enslavement, plantation, emancipation. Now, who are our ancestors? Ancestors are people who we are descended from. What does that mean? Descended. What does the word descend mean? Descend means to move or fall downwards. Let me repeat. Descend means to move or fall downwards. So we don't say descend down, because that would be repetition. We don't say sit down, because when you sit, you are going down. We don't say stand up, because when you stand, you will go up. So just bear in mind that we don't say descend down. All right? So ancestors are people who we are descended from. Our ancestors include the Taínos, the Caribs, the Africans, the Spanish, British, French, Dutch, Portuguese, East Indians, and Chinese. Now the Taínos and the Caribs. Now people who inhabited, the Taínos and the Caribs rather, are people who inhabited the Caribbean. Right? So the Taínos and the Caribs are people who inhabited the Caribbean. What does that mean, inhabited? Mean that people who lived or occupied the Caribbean. So the people who inhabited the Caribbean were called Amerindians. All right? They were called Amerindians because they were American Indians. So they just joined the word together and call it Amerindians. All right? This includes the Taínos, which are the Arawaks people, and the Caribs, which are the Kalinagos people. And here is a picture, or multiple pictures of the Taínos. Kalinagos. So this is a picture of the Kalinagos. So the Africans. So the enslaved Africans came to the Caribbean from West Africa. They were brought by the British from countries in Africa, such as Nigeria, Ghana, and Senegal. So these countries are in West Africa, or can be found in West Africa. All right, so these are the countries that most of our enslaved Africans came from. All right, so the Europeans now. So the Europeans include the Spanish, British, French, Dutch, Portuguese. All right. So the Europeans include the Spanish, British, French, and Portuguese. These are the major, I should say. So these are the major European groups that came to the Caribbean. All right. The East Indians and the Chinese. After slavery ended in 1838, most of the enslaved left the plantation, and therefore the plantation were in need of workers. So after slavery ended in 1838, the plantation were needed of workers. So guess what? The Indian and the Chinese were invited to work as indentured laborers. What do we mean by indentured laborers? So indentured laborers means that they agreed to work for a sum of money for a period of time, about 6 years, and after this they could either go back to their countries or remain in the Caribbean. And we see a lot of Chinese here today because they have remained in the Caribbean after their 5 years. So they remained in the Caribbean, and we see a lot of supermarket here that is owned by Chinese. We see a lot of haberdashery stores that is owned by the Indians. All right. So these people, or this group of people, remain in the Caribbean. All right. So the East Indians, or the Indians rather, and the Chinese came from the continent of Asia, which is the largest continent. So Asia is the largest continent. So these people can be referred to as Asian, because they come from Asia, and Asia is the largest continent. All right. Now we have the Portuguese, and we have the Lebanese, and we have the Syrians. All right, so these groups of people did not remain on the sugar plantation for long. They turned their attention to business. They are smart people, right? So these groups of people did not remain on the sugar plantation for long. They turned their attention to business. Some of their descendants can be found in Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago. Now, out of many one people. This is our coat of arms, right? Out of many one people. What does this mean? Out of many one people. This means that our population in Jamaica is comprised of different races. All right? In other words, our population is comprised of different ethnic group. All right? Ethnic group. So our population is comprised of different ethnic group or races of people. So you see, we have the Chinese here, we have the Indians here, we have the Portuguese, Lebanese, Syrians here. So we have a lot of different race of people here in the Caribbean. All right? So we're comprised of different races or ethnic groups. All right? So we're going to look at some definition of terms. Ethnic group. An ethnic group is a community or group of people who share common ancestors. And we just look at the ancestors that we are descended from, right? We just look at them earlier. And also a common culture, religion, and language. So culture. We know that we share a lot of common culture. We share common culture with the Africans. Yes, we share common culture with the Africans because the Africans brought different, our ancestors rather, brought different cultures here. All right? Our ancestors brought different cultures here, such as the Caribbeans rather brought percussion instrument. They brought percussion instrument. So the Africans brought percussion instrument. And what are percussion instrument? Let us take a look. So these are some examples of percussion instrument. All right. So we have the Congo drum that is at school. You know that drum, that board drum that you beat with your hand. Yes, that Congo drum is called Congo drum. And we also have the bongo drum. Yes, we have the bongo drums. We have percussion instrument include such as xylophone. We have the cymbals. We have the bass drums. We have the organ. We have the tambourine that we play at church. Yes, we have the tambourine that we play at church. So we have a lot of percussion instruments. All right. And percussion instrument refers to the playing of music by striking instrument with sticks. And you don't have to be struck by sticks. So you don't have to be struck by sticks, right? You can use hands. We can use our hands to beat these percussion instruments. All right. So, yes, so we get back to common culture. So the Africans brought percussion instrument here, such as the xylophone, drums, and maracas, and the rattles. Rattles are shakers, all right? The Europeans brought guitar, they brought the piano, they brought the harp, they brought the violin, all right? The dances, Africans brought jankunu, they brought kumina here, they brought dinky mini, otherwise known as the night. We go to night, right? Yes, we go to night. And you see some of these dances are done, like the kumina, the jankunu, and dinky mini, all right? The Europeans, and these dances were brought by the Africans. They were brought by the Africans. So the Africans brought jankunu, kumina, and dinky mini, otherwise known as night, all right? The Europeans, they brought quadrille and maypole to the Caribbean, all right? The Europeans also brought their religion, such as Christianity. Oh yes, the Europeans brought their religion, such as Christianity. They formed different churches like the Roman Catholic and the Anglican Church, etc. All right. The Africans also brought religion here. They brought kumina, they brought Islam, they brought voodoo, voodoo. All right. They brought voodoo here. They brought revivalism. They brought Shango. And they brought influenced by African, yes, the Rastafarianism were influenced by Africans, right? So they brought Rastafarianism here as well. And some of these, a matter of fact, all of these religions are practiced in Jamaica. Yes. So Jamaica practice kumina, they practice Islam, they practice voodoo, they practice revivalism, they practice Shango, they practice Rastafarianism. So all of these religions are practiced in Jamaica. All right. The Indians brought Hinduism to the Caribbean, and they later take over Islam. All right, they take over Islam from the Africans. All right, so the Jews brought Judaism. They brought Judaism to the Caribbean, and they also brought different languages. All right, so we are going to continue with the definition of terms, which is colonization. So this means to send settlers bracket to place and establish political control over it. So this means to send settlers to and establish political control over it. All right. So the Middle Passage means the journey from Africa to the Caribbean undertaken by captured Africans, and we are going into this, but we're just looking at definition of terms now, because we're actually going to look at colonization, we're going to look and Middle Passage, we're going to look at enslavement. So we're just going to briefly touch on them. So enslavement, when one set of people, such as the Europeans, treat another set of people, such as the Africans, as slaves rather. So we're just briefly going to touch on these definitions. All right. Plantation, a very large farm for growing a single crop, such as sugar cane. All right, so that is the meaning of plantation, which we will look at later on. All right. Emancipation, ever hear the song, emancipate yourself from mental slavery? None but, I don't remember the song. All right, let me try and see if I can remember. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Yeah, I get it, I get you. All right, good. So, free your mind. So, think of free. So, the emancipation means free. All right, emancipation means free. The fact or process of being set free from legal, social, or political restrictions or liberations. All right, or liberation. All right, so emancipation means free. All right, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. All right, wonderful. So, summary. The major ethnic groups that came to the Caribbean include the Amerindians, which are the Taínos, the Arawaks people, and the Caribs, which are the Kalinagos people. All right, the European, which is the Spanish, which consists of the Spanish, the British, the French, the Dutch, and the Portuguese. The Africans, which are enslaved Africans. All right, East Indians and the Chinese. So these are the major ethnic groups that came to the Caribbean. So remember, the topic is to identify, what was the topic again? To identify the ethnic groups that came to the Caribbean. So the topic is to identify the ethnic groups that came to the Caribbean, and we just identify the ethnic groups that came to the Caribbean. And these are the Amerindians, which consist of the Taínos, which are the Arawaks people, and the Caribs, which are the Kalinagos people. The European, which consists of the Spanish, the British, the French, the Dutch, the Portuguese, and we have the Africans, we have the East Indians, and we have the Chinese. So we have actually completed the ethnic groups that came to the Caribbean. So God bless you, God keep you. Thanks for listening. So I hope you are keeping safe, you are wearing your mask, you are social distancing, and you are washing your hands. All right, so God bless you. Tune in for the next topic.